Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to change the lower control arm on your Honda Accord. The reason why we are changing it is because these bushings are blown out here, here, and down here. When these bushings are blown out, the steering wheel could feel real loose, real shaky. When I mean loose, you turn the steering wheel and it feels like it's not going anywhere, or your input's not going directly to the wheel. It feels like you could turn and you don't feel anything, and you turn more and you finally feel it. So it'll leave your steering wheel feeling loose. It could damage your tires, meaning when you're driving, your tires are just kind of flopping around and shaking and everything, and that could create uneven wear on your tires. Some of the symptoms from this would be, again, shaky steering wheel, shaking when you hit the brakes. As you can see, this has affected his brakes as well. So when you hit the brakes, the wheels just wobble around, and that's why you're getting these hot spots. You can't align the car like this, so the car is going to always wander all over the road when you're driving. So it's just completely unsafe. So we have a set of tools over here that we'll be using, including the jack, and we also have the part that we're going to be replacing. I like to use this pad. It's real nice when you're working this low in the car and on your knees. We're going to start with some needle nose pliers. We're going to have some regular pliers. We got a 14 millimeter, a 17 millimeter. We also have a 3/8 drive. I like this one because it's real long, so it's kind of a breaker bar style as well. You can use a regular wrench and a breaker bar, but I use this. We use this sledgehammer right here. I'll show you why later in the video. We also have a 19 millimeter right here, 17 millimeter, a 14 millimeter, and we have an extension. These are all 3/8 drives. We have this jack right here, so we could brace under the control arm so everything doesn't fall down. We'll also use the jack for when we take the control arm off the car. We'll use it to elevate this whole system up because it gets real heavy, guys. That's probably over 80 pounds, and you don't want to be holding with one hand and trying to slip in bolts with the other hand. So we'll use the jack to hold it in position, and we'll go ahead and slide all our bolts in. The one thing about YouTube videos, when you watch them, you always wonder, well, how long does it really take? So this job takes roughly about 45 minutes per corner if you have any mechanic skills. If you have power tools, you can get it down to about 30 minutes per corner. If you're using hand tools and this is your first time, I'd say a difficulty level to 1 to 5. This will be maybe a 1.7, maybe 2 if you start getting frustrated. Don't let this job get you frustrated. It's very easy to do, and you can do it at home in your garage with some simple hand tools like I've just showed you. We'll start by removing this 14 millimeter right here. We'll disconnect this 14 millimeter down here. We'll take this 17 millimeter off right here, and that's going to allow this fork to move up and down and disconnect from this strut, give us a little bit more freedom to work with. After that, we'll take this Carter pin out right here, and then we'll remove this 17 right there. Then we'll take our sledgehammer and hit this right here, which will loosen this and make this ball joint loose. From there, we'll come around to this area. We'll take that 19 millimeter out, and we'll pull this back 17 millimeter out. We'll make sure the jack's under here. We'll give it a nice little shove, and this whole unit will just pop out. That's pretty much the gist of it. So I'm gonna start on the other side and show you guys how it's done because the lighting's better on that side. We'll pull the part off the car and we'll do a direct comparison of the good one versus the used up, clapped out, herpy, steroid, bad one. Girl, so at this point you got everything loose. Sorry, earlier I said that was a 17 right there. That's a 19. So everything is loose. We got a bolt out of here, we got a bolt out of there, we got our 14 out of here, we got the sway bar disconnected, we have the 17 bolt, we're gonna pull that out in a second, and we have this last one, which is right there. So I was hitting this with the sledgehammer because that loosens it, because this is real tight. So now that everything is loose, if you guys want, you could get like a jack, just a floor jack, your traditional floor jack like that right there, and you can place it under here, because when you pull this it could kind of fall down and you don't want any of these lines to stretch. Now we have our floor jack supporting this, because once we give this a pull, all that's going to come out. See that? And back there. There, it's out. Just like that. Don't pull it too much and pull your axle way out, because you could rip your boot. But just give it enough to get it out, and then we'll pull these bolts out and everything should just kind of fall apart at that point. Okay, with this setup, it didn't like fall because this ran out of room to drop. So all the components are still safe, everything's good. So we didn't really need the jack for this one. But it's always good to have this just in case, because you never know, and you do not want to rip any of the ABS stuff because it is expensive. And now that we have the two out side by side, it's always good to do a comparison. So these bushings are completely blown right here. If we were to look, you can see these bushings are completely gone. And you can see that, how that's flipped out at the top. So this bushing right here blew out because of this bushing went. See, and you can see it's torn on the side right there. When this one went, it allowed the arm to swing that way, which put tension right there. And you can see these are blown out as well. So all the lower compliance bushings are blown out on this car. So now we'll just reverse install just like we took it off. The only difference is on the reverse install is that we will use the jack, and what that's going to do is jack this up so you don't have to hold it. You don't need a jack if you're super strong, but this is super easy this way. Jack it up, and we're going to attach down here and attach right there. And then at this point you could lift this up, slide it in, slide that in, put this back in right here into here, and that's pretty much it. That's the job. If you guys need any help, just comment below and I'll try to help you guys with it, with the rest of it. But that's pretty much it. Then you want to tighten everything back down to the factory recommended torque specs. If you guys found this video helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. This doesn't just go for this car. Cars are built very similar, so this can apply to other cars as well.